stepmom couldn't handle the fact that my dad left his entire estate under my name instead of the kids she brought into the family, so she tried to break into my house, but oh boy, even I was shocked when I found out what dad had planned for her. When I was 12, my film producer dad sent me to live with my grandparents after some kids at my new school pushed me down the stairs. He said it was temporary, just until I adjusted. That temporary arrangement lasted 6 years. During that time, dad married Cheryl, a divorcee with 2 teenagers who made it clear they wanted nothing to do with him. I remember meeting them once. Her son spent the entire dinner on his phone, and her daughter left after 20 minutes saying she had better things to do. Dad tried everything. He bought them a car, paid for their college, even got her son an internship at his production company. They took everything and gave him nothing. I kept my distance. I was hurt that he'd started a new family after abandoning me, but we slowly reconnected when I got into film school in his city. He was so excited to have me back. We'd meet for coffee every Sunday, and he'd tell me stories about his shoots. Those 2 years were the best relationship we'd ever had. Then he had a heart attack at 52. Sudden, no warning. At the funeral, Cheryl played the grieving widow perfectly. Her kids didn't even show up. The will reading happened 3 days later. I sat in the lawyer's office expecting maybe some equipment or a small trust fund. Cheryl sat across from me with this satisfied smile, already planning how she'd spend the money. The lawyer cleared his throat. To my daughter, I leave everything. The mansion at 47 Ocean View Drive, my production company valued at $6.2 million, all bank accounts totaling $1.8 million, and my entire film equipment collection worth approximately $400,000. Cheryl's face went from smug to white in seconds. She stood up so fast her chair fell over. That's impossible! I'm his wife! This is illegal! The lawyer calmly explained that Dad had updated his will 6 months before his death. Everything was legitimate. What about my kids? She screamed. They lived with him. They're his family. I couldn't help myself. The kids who skipped his funeral? Those kids? She lunged at me. The security guard had to hold her back. As they escorted her out, she kept screaming that I'd manipulated a dying man, that she'd contest the will, that I'd regret this. I moved into the mansion 2 weeks later, changed the locks, updated the security system, the whole deal, or so I thought. At 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, my phone exploded with alerts. Someone was at the front door. I opened the security app and there was Cheryl, trying key after key in the lock. She had Dad's old keychain, the one with at least 15 keys on it. I called 911 and just watched. She was frantic, trying every single key, muttering to herself. She even tried the side door, the garage, the back entrance. 40 minutes of pure desperation. When the cops arrived, she tried to play it off. This is my house! My husband left it to me! She stole my keys! The officers looked at me. I showed them the security footage, the will, the updated locks records from 2 weeks ago. Her story fell apart in minutes. They arrested her for attempted breaking and entering. She spent the night in jail. But here's where it gets crazy. The next day, my dad's lawyer called me. He had something to show me. Something Dad had left in a sealed envelope marked to be opened only if Cheryl contests the will or attempts to enter the property. Inside was a USB drive. We watched it together. It was Dad, recorded 3 months before he died, sitting in his office. He looked tired but determined. If you're watching this, Cheryl tried something. I want you to know I've been documenting everything for the past year. Every time she pressured me to change the will. Every conversation where she dismissed my daughter. I have recordings, text messages, emails, everything. Then he dropped the real bomb. I also discovered she'd been forging my signature on documents, trying to transfer assets into her name. I have the originals and the forgeries. I contacted the police 2 months ago, but I wanted to wait. I wanted to see if she'd actually respect my final wishes. He smiled sadly at the camera. I guess we have our answer. The lawyer forwarded everything to the district attorney. The forgery charges alone were enough for 2 to 5 years. Combined with the attempted break-in, they offered her a plea deal, 2 years minimum. Her lawyer tried to argue emotional distress, that she was grieving, but those recordings were damning. Her asking Dad to cut me out completely. Her telling him I was just trying to get his money. Her literally practicing his signature on random documents. She took the plea deal. The craziest part? A week after her sentencing, I got an email from her son. He apologized for everything, said they'd been trying to leave her for years but didn't know how. His sister sent a similar message. They asked if they could visit Dad's grave with me. We went together last month. They brought flowers, told stories about the few good memories they had with him. They're actually decent people when they're not under her influence. Dad's production company is thriving. I hired both of them. One in editing, one in sound design. They're actually talented. Cheryl gets out in 18 months. Her kids told me they've already blocked her number.